Greetings, welcome to the FIC video on politically exposed persons, PEPs. Mainly focusing on the Guidance Note 1 of 2019, which is the Guidance on Due Diligence for Politically Exposed Persons. This guidance note is issued in terms of Section 9(1)(h) of the Financial Intelligence Act, 2012, Act 13 of 2012, as amended, hereinafter referred to as the FIA. This document avails guidance on identification considerations pertaining to politically exposed persons, PEPs, in terms of Section 23 read with Regulations 6, 12 and 15 of the FIA. Steps to the FIC Guidance Note 1 of 2019, which is the Guidance on Due Diligence for Politically Exposed Persons. You simply go to www.fic.na and it will lead you to the FIC homepage. Go to Publication, Guidance Note, select the 2019 Guidance Note. Select the PDF file and it will lead you straight to the Guidance Note on Politically Exposed Persons. Moving forward. What is a politically exposed person? A PEP is defined by the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, as an individual who is or has been entrusted with a prominent public function. Due to their position and influence, it is recognized that many PEPs are in positions that potentially can be abused for the purpose of committing money laundering offenses and related predicate offenses such as corruption and bribery, terrorist financing as well as proliferation financing. Here is a list of persons who meet the description of a PEP, amongst others. 1. Heads of state, heads of government, ministers and deputies, assistant ministers or senior politicians. 2. Members of parliament or of similar legislative bodies. 3. Secretary to cabinet or those holding such similar position. 4. Members of the governing bodies of political parties. 5. Executive directors and their deputies, former permanent secretaries. 6. Directors and their deputies in line ministries. 7. Regional authority councillors. 8. Local authority councillors as well as the executive management of local authorities. 9. Senior executives of state-owned entities. 10. Members of Supreme Courts, of constitutional courts or of other high-level judicial bodies, the decisions of which are not subject to further appeal, except in exceptional circumstances. 11. Members of the boards of domestic or international banks and central banks. 12. Ambassadors and members of management of embassies or similar bodies. 13. High-ranking officers in the armed forces and law enforcement, including prosecutorial services. 14. Members of the management of supervisory bodies. 15. Directors, deputy directors and members of boards or equivalent function of an international organization. When a customer/family member/known close associate is identified as a PEP, the FIA and its regulations require that enhanced customer due diligence (ECDD) measures are taken to manage and mitigate the risks posed by PEPs and their families and close associates, who are considered to pose a high risk of ML, TF or PF. Section 28 of the FIA requires that AIs should 1. Have approval from senior management for establishing or continuing business relationships with such persons. 2. Take adequate measures to establish the source of wealth and source of funds that are involved in business relationships or transactions with such persons. 3. Conduct enhanced, ongoing monitoring of those business relationships, such as monitoring transacting behavior of all high-risk clients, including PEPs so identified. If any transacting behavior is not in line with the expected norm, such should be reviewed to determine if it is suspicious. However, let us look at the frequently asked questions. 1. What do AIs and RIs need to do? AIs are obliged in terms of Section 23 to 24 of the FIA and Regulation 15 to 16 to have appropriate risk management systems and procedures to identify when their customer, or the beneficial owner of a customer, is a high risk or PEP and to manage the inherently high risks derived from the client. 2. Why do PEPs, their close family members and associates pose a risk? PEPs, by virtue of the positions they occupy, are exposed to functions that may lead to abuse of office for personal gain or other interests. A PEP may use the financial system to launder the proceeds through abuse of office. 3. Do all PEPs' client relationships with AI and RIs pose the same level of risk? No, the risk of the client relationship between the AI and PEP differs depending on the circumstances of the relationship. 4. Should AIs apply the same measures to all relationships with PEPs? No, when conducting transactions or business with PEPs, AI should take a proportionate, risk-based and differentiated approach based on the individual risks presented by PEPs, as well as persons/entities affiliated to a PEP. 5. Who are the family members of a PEP? Family members of a PEP include the following: a spouse or partner of the PEP, children of the PEP and their spouses or partners, parents of the PEP. 6. Who are people regarded as close associates of a PEP? Known close associates of a PEP include, but are not limited to the following: individuals known to have joint beneficial ownership of a legal entity or a legal arrangement or any other close business relationship with a PEP. For example, a PEP's business partner. Individuals who have sole beneficial ownership of a legal entity or a legal arrangement which is known to have been set up for the benefit of a PEP, as well as known close friends of the PEP. 7. Does the FIC provide a PEPs list? No, the FIC gives guidance on characteristics that would qualify a client to fall within the definition of a PEP. 8. To what extent may public information be considered to classify a PEP? AIs should make use of credible public information when establishing source of wealth and source of funds. This could include information pending on the circumstances of the relationship. 9. Until when does a PEP remain high risk or prominent and influential? A timeframe of say 3 or 5 years after leaving influential office. 10. What is the difference between foreign PEP and a domestic PEP? The difference between a foreign PEP and a domestic PEP is the country which has entrusted the individual with a prominent public function. We have come to the end of the video on politically exposed persons, PEP. For more information visit the FIC website at www.fic.na or contact +26 46 128 35287, email helpdesk@fic.na.